Hey everyone, my name's Amanda and I'm the Fun Size Reader. Okay, so I want to thank everybody so much for watching my Crush review by Tracy Wolf. I posted the review, I believe, last week, and the comments have been exploding with everybody wanting to talk about Crush, and it makes me so happy. I've been doing my best to comment back to everybody, but if I haven't gotten to your comment yet, I'm trying, so I'll be in touch soon. But one of the comments was from Morgan, who wanted to know what the heck can she read after reading Crave and Crush while she's waiting for Covet in March. So I wanted to kind of do I don't want to say top 5, but like the first 5 that came to my mind that had similar themes, similar style, or would be a bingeable read after reading Crush. So a couple things that she was looking for was YA, fantasy, and something that had like this epic love story romance. So I browsed through my fantasy shelf, which is the longest of all of them. And while there are so many books that I want to recommend for this, I tried to limit it to 5, and most of them are series. So there's really more than 5 that I'm about to tell you. So let's get started. Okay, so one of the first series that I would absolutely recommend is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. And this is one of my favorite series of all time. I started reading this when it was first published a few years ago, so I've had to wait for every book to come out, which was a really hard wait. But now you don't have to because they are all published. I actually left my rotation at the hospital after I was dismissed and went straight to Barnes & Noble the day that finale came out so that I could pick it up and read all night, which I did, and it was great. But Caraval is about 2 sisters who are living with their father, and he's kind of really strict is the best word for it, but he doesn't really want them doing anything. He's ready to marry them off and kind of get them out of his hair. And their mother died and had told them stories of this carnival type celebration called Caraval. And it was always their dream to be invited to it because it's super exclusive. And it's run by this man named Master Legend, and nobody really knows who Master Legend is. And so they escape the clutches of their father, and they go to this island because they're invited to participate in Caraval, the game of Caraval. And that's exactly what it is. It's a game, and whoever wins the game at the end gets a wish. And it's done by Legend, given to them by Legend. But what's amazing about Caraval is that you don't know what's real and what's part of the game. So totally epic love story, not only in just the first book, but in the second and third as well. Addicting, bingeable, fantasy, totally bring you out of your mindset, and just really fun. So definitely pick up Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This next series I actually haven't finished yet. I'm still on the last book, and I think I'm gonna pick it up next and just finish it. There's a very specific reason why I haven't finished it yet, and I don't want to share anything because of spoilers. But that is the Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Kerri Maniscalo. I suck at last names, I'm sorry. But I love this series. It's more of, I don't want to say a thriller, but kind of thrillery YA with an amazing love story strewn throughout all 4 books. And I just have to say, I love Thomas Cresswell. He's one of my favorite book boyfriends ever. And this book is so swoony, and all of them kind of take place in different areas. So this one is Stalking Jack the Ripper. Then the next one is Hunting Prince Dracula. The third one is Escaping from Houdini. So takes a fan fiction legend type story and weaves it into an investigative thriller love story between Audrey Rose and Thomas Cresswell. So, Stalking Jack the Ripper, definitely recommend. This one isn't as much fantasy. It has fantastical elements, but it's more historical fiction, thriller, romance than it is fantasy. And that's all I'm gonna say. Stalking Jack the Ripper and all of the subsequent books by Kerri Maniscalo, definitely recommend. This next one, I contemplated putting this one in because I wanted to include books that could be bingeable, that we didn't have to wait for the next ones in the series, like we're waiting for Covet. But I couldn't pass recommending this one up. This is called The Kinder Poison by Natalie May. And I put this one in because it has all of the elements that I was talking to Morgan about. It has YA, fantasy, epic, like series, adventure, and romance. So this is book 1. It did come out earlier this year, and I flew through this book. I actually had it on ebook. Thank you to Penguin Teen for sending me a copy of it. And then I had to go out and buy my physical copy because I knew I'd be reading the rest of this series. So I kind of described this book as Aladdin mixed with The Amazing Race, mixed with romance. So it's about this girl who lives in a fantastical, magical world where people have magic or they don't have magic. And there's kind of a hierarchy based on what magic you have. And she just wants to go to a party with her friend because she kind of has this dull life, and she works with her father, and her mother had passed away, and she wants to just go celebrate I believe it's called The Crossing, but she wants to go to the party that's supposed to help the royals choose their team to go on this crossing to help determine who's going to take over the throne. And she accidentally gets put into the closest word that I can describe it is like the victors from the Hunger Games, where she's one that can be chosen. But here's the thing is she doesn't really have magic like all of these others do. And then the race begins, and it's cutthroat and crazy, and I just totally recommend this. But like I said, this is one that we have to wait for book 2, and it ends on a cliffhanger. So I'm just warning you now, you're going to be waiting on this one too. The Kinder Poison by Natalie May. Check it out. This next one, I wasn't really sure if it's classified as adult fantasy or YA fantasy, but I classified it as YA fantasy because it was one of those very quick reads that I think fits with the YA fantasy genre. And this one is called Awakens by Elise Kova. I love these books. I feel like these books are hidden gems of fantasy readers that just don't get promoted enough, and when people actually read them, they're like, oh my god, why have I never heard of this series? I completely recommend this. This has everything. Epic love story, battles, magic, fantasy, friendships, death. It has everything. This is a series where I for sure say beware, because your emotions will be handed to you by Elise on a silver platter and then ripped out of your hands when you thought everything was going to be okay. So this is 100% bingeable. All of the books in the series are out. She has written more spin-off series from it, which I haven't read yet, but don't look at those series because it has spoilers from this series. So definitely read Awakens. This is about Vala, who is a librarian. And again, there's kind of this hierarchy system with those who have magic, those who don't have magic. And those who don't have magic kind of fear the people who do. And she finds out one day that she has a magic that they haven't seen in many, many years, and that is coveted by the emperor, and he basically wants to end up using her as his weapon. But the swoony dark prince, he does not want that to happen. And so he helps train Vala, and of course, epic love story. But totally recommend this one. And please, if you start reading it, leave me comments, send me a DM, whatever. I don't care, because I just need more people to read it. I just want people to talk about it with. And I just had a friend who did it, and I was literally getting text messages from her. She was on vacation with her family, and she binged all 5 books while she was on vacation. So please read Awakens. I just want to talk to people about Aldrich. Please. And my last one is actually a duology, and this comes after the Kiss of Deception series, which I haven't read the series yet. It's a series of 3, and technically it explains things that happen back in time before the series that I'm about to recommend. But I haven't read this, and I still thoroughly enjoyed the next books. So I just wanted to kind of throw this out there before I introduce the next one, which is The Dance of Thieves. And this one, the cover had always kind of caught my eye, and there was only one out when I started reading it, and the second one came out very shortly after. But this love story, oh my God. It is fantasy, of course, YA, of course. They are pretty thick, but there's only 2 of them, and it's just like, you feel this one in your gut, and you just Jason Kazi forever. And there's games and lying and tricking and not knowing who's being genuine, and it's just so good. So good. But like I said, the Kiss of Deception does come first, and so there are some things that I feel like would be a little bit more clear if you read that one before this one, but you still can definitely enjoy A Dance of Thieves without reading the first section. Okay, so like I said, there's still so many more on my shelves that I feel like you can totally binge while you're waiting for Covet to come out. But I wanted to give you a little bit of a taste. I may do another video with a second set. Who knows? We'll see. At least you can get started. There's plenty of books in all of those series to keep you occupied. But let me know in the comments if there's anything that you saw that I presented today that you want to review on more so than what I just gave. Thanks for joining me today, and thanks so much for Morgan giving me this great idea, and hopefully I will keep you all busy reading. If you want to talk to me on Instagram, I'm there at The Fun Size Reader, on Facebook at The Fun Size Reader, and on Twitter at Fun Size Reader. See you guys next time.